Hey guys, Mark Ferrasci with Protect Dog Training up here in the high desert. We have a beautiful day today. A little bit cool and windy, but that's normal up here. Hopefully it won't get too windy. It's a day like today, it's beautiful. The wind kind of ruins it. But we're hoping. Right now I feel wind, so maybe, and that's normal. As the temperature goes up, starts to rise, we get a windy season, kind of a windy period of time until it kind of balances out. So, alright, so by now you guys have started watching the news and you know that we're going to have a real heavy hit in the next week or two with this coronavirus, with a lot of deaths and a lot of life lost. And I've said it from the beginning, I thought 1 in 3 would probably get it. How many live through it and how many don't, that's a different thing. We're definitely got Mother Nature and God thinning the herd, okay? There's rumors this thing was man-made, but that's all conspiracy theories, and we all jump into these conspiracy theories and we claim this shit, and with the internet we've got somebody out there spouting this stuff, I'm sure, but we don't know. You never will know, okay? If they did have something that they got loose on them and some bullshit rumors, oh, they were going to let it go at the Olympics and this kind of shit, it's all hypothetical bullshit because you don't have any proof, okay? Reality doesn't matter how it happened. Reality is it's in our environment. Reality is we have to deal with it as a society, and it is what it is. There is no ways of avoiding it. I am not sure that I don't have it, guys. I've been always very aware of my body and very cognizant of my body. And when this thing first started, I had pains on the outside edges, little pinpointed pains around my chest area on the outside. And it would float. It would come and go. I would feel it in the morning when I was breathing a little different, maybe when I had been sleeping. I don't have any phlegm buildup. I have no phlegm. I'm not coughing. Then I went to LAX to go in to ship that dog out the other night, and I'm standing there doing the paperwork, and I got a hot flash, kind of feverish, and I felt a little weak, just like you would when you have the flu, okay? And I didn't feel so good. I was off a little bit. And I went and drove home that night, and I just didn't feel a little right. I went to sleep that night, got up the next morning. I still felt a little off that next day. And that day I kind of stayed in bed. Tina can tell you, I stayed in bed most of the day and kept kind of begging off and going in to take naps and sleeping. Didn't feel so hot. It passed. Again, it floated, just kind of like these pains that I've been feeling. And it went away. Why I'm accenting this is because I don't know if I have it or not. I don't know if it's psychosomatic with all the symptoms we've got on the news and this being pounded every day and being very cognizant of aware of these symptoms and having fear in my brain. Is it my mind screwing with me? I don't know, okay? And I'm not going to say it is. I'm not going to say it isn't, okay? I'm going to take the positive stance and I'm going to say it's not, and I'm doing my hypnosis for immunity. I believe in the power of the mind, guys. This is stuff I probably don't ever talk about. I've been doing hypnosis since I was a child. I started reading about Freud back in junior high and high school, and I actually went through a whole series of hypnotizing my friends and experimenting with it and learning the power of the mind. And then I fell out of it, and kind of just how life takes you in different things. I got out of it and lived life and didn't come back to it until probably about 5-10 years ago when I was working at Watson. I needed to do a lot of studying, and I needed to do a lot of work in learning a lot of different applications and things that we were using for our key card access and all this, because I used to sit what they call the Security Operations Center, the SOC, Security Ops. And I used to watch all the cameras at Watson Pharmaceuticals, and over 300 cameras, a lot of technology, and it was a very intensive type of a job. And so I used hypnosis to get myself back in, and I fell back into the power of the mind and hypnosis and what it's all about. And I've been doing it since then pretty religiously. I use it for sleep right now, a lot, and it helps. I can get to sleep, and I'm out like a light, and I use that, and I believe in the power of the mind. We only use 10% of our mind, folks, and it's an amazing thing if you start to understand how the mind works. So that being the case, right now I'm doing a lot of thinking about this virus that we've got going on, the COVID-19, and I don't know if I'm driving myself with my mind and I'm being imaginative and I'm creating this, or is it a sneaky, pervasive little lab engineered disease that they've worked on that doesn't act like a normal one does. I mean, normally the flu, you go through a whole progression. You get sniffly, you get coughs, you feel like shit, and you've got a cold, and it goes through a whole progression. That's what you would think this thing would do. But is it acting different? Does it float like it's doing? I've had these little pains around my chest on the outside edges that have been kind of like a pinpoint. And I'll feel them in the mornings, and then all of a sudden they kind of float away, and maybe I'm getting into, just dealing with the day, and I forget about them. And then when it happened when I got weak and had symptoms of a normal flu type of a symptom, where you get weak and you get lightheaded and you have butterflies in your stomach and you feel sick. And that's what I felt like when I was at the airport that night. And it's floating. Last night I had a pretty good pain right in the center of my chest. And then I thought, wait a minute, I ate some pizza last night. We had pizza from the to-go place, and it was anchovies. I usually don't eat anchovies, but it didn't feel like gas. It didn't feel like it felt like the same kind of little pains that I've been feeling in the other instances, and I still kind of feel it. So I don't know. Again, I don't know if I've got it or not. I'll just do my deal to stay at home and stay away from people, cognizant and aware, and give myself enough time to say I don't have it or I do. This is some scary shit that our society's going through. All right, so to my next point, okay? We have something we're dealing with that has a lot of people buying things off the shelves and hoarding and some other human behaviors that are happening. And it's always been in the storybooks. I've been a very person that's been into a lot of different things when I read, do a lot of reading, a lot of subjects, and one of those is survival, okay? So at this point, I would suggest that if you have any inkling of future things that could happen, okay, and very well could happen, I would start trying to put together some kind of survival type of a kit in your behavior. I would be watching your gas. There's another guy that I'll find his thing and give you some of the links to his stuff. He's a ex-SEAL, and that's his expertise, is survival and protection and all that good stuff that he's very good at. He's an operator, and that's his whole thing. That's his business in life. And right now with this, his suggestions and what he's talking about are very valid, okay? Panic doesn't help. If you panic, you're going to overreact, and you're going to end up getting hurt. But our society is what I would be worried about right now, because the fear involved with something like this happening. Joker! Joker! Good boy. There he is. He was just hiding. You were just hiding. You were flirting, huh? Were you flirting? Were you? You were just hiding, weren't you, huh? You were just hiding, huh? Yeah, you were, huh? Yeah, that's my Joker. Yeah, that's my Joker. Yeah. So, bottom line, you've got to think a few moves ahead on the chessboard, right? Start thinking ahead and start putting yourself to what you need to do to get through what might happen with society's fear and overwhelming of what we've got to do to survive, because there's the word depression has come in, and nobody was alive during the depression. I wasn't. Hup. These times were tough. Joker. Hup. That being the case, we need to start thinking ahead to protect your home and family. I don't have any weapons. I've got dogs. Nobody's going to come into my property without getting bit. I'll guarantee you that. I've got some dogs that are real mean, and I will put them out in the yard. There's no two ways about that. Tina's got some guns, so we will protect ourselves. But I mean, I'm talking about kind of conserve gas, conserve your food. Tina only eats pretty much one meal a day. She can survive on one meal a day. She's proud of that. I usually eat 3 meals a day, and I'm always mad because I want 3 meals a day. Smaller meals, I don't eat as much. She eats a lot when she sits down, but me, my lifestyle's a little different. But I'm going to have to start going into a survivalist type of a mode and starting to think months ahead, because this thing might draw into months. And if society gets really screwed up like I think it might, we're looking for a hell of a time period. All right, now, the other one is to start thinking about our president. Our president has not shown himself to be a good leader since we've had him in office. And you know me, I'm anti, okay? I'm not a Trumper, I'm anti-Trump. And I know there's a bunch of you out there that are Trumpers. And if you still believe in this man now, after what he's been doing, leading our country and what he does, if you're still behind him, you're a nut, okay? Here's what I think is gonna happen, and it very well could, if this thing goes sideways. He could declare martial law. He could take away our ability to vote right now and say there's an emergency situation and stay in office. Okay, and if that's the case, that'll be the first time it ever happens in our history that I know of, and it'll be something that I don't trust them as far as I can throw them. I don't trust Trump at all, And it's something that I worry about, because if he affects our whole way of doing things with democracy and our vote and true Americans, something like this could have that happen. Hypothetically, if you look at it, there is a percentage, there's a chance that this man could start doing that. Pull off the National Guard, the military, and profess it's all about the COVID and if this is what's going to happen, and we would lose our ability to vote him out of office. We need to get this man the hell out of there. He's not a good leader, and we've got something that's major catastrophe right now. This is no joke, okay? We need to go up there, put him in handcuffs, drop him off, and get him out of office. And that's just a matter of fact, because he's not doing us any good. And right now, this is something that's societal, that is a once-in-a-lifetime situation that may never happen again. We need to bring Obama back, is what we need to do. Personally, I trust and respect the man. We need good leadership. Or the governor in New York, somebody that really can represent what we need to do and work as a team, and work with a bunch of people, instead of separating the lines and saying you're Republicans and you're Democrats. It has nothing to do with our parties right now. We have to forget all that crap. Republicans, Democrats do not matter right now. What matters is survival and doing it the best way. He has screwed up everything in this thing. He's been saying that he's doing all this testing. We're going to have all this testing all over the place. We don't have hardly any testing at all. He should be doing the antibodies and doing a test for that to find out who is building antibodies, and trying to work on the vaccine as much as he is anything else. Saving lives is all part and parcel of it too, but we need to come up with a vaccine, because we don't have any protection. This thing's going to happen in a cycle every fucking year. Think about how many people are going to have to die every year because something like this doesn't get handled. We have to use our technology. We have to get some smart brains, and we have to get something that gives us a vaccine to protect us from this, period. And those of you that are anti-vaccine, you might as well put that away, because science shows you that vaccines work. There's a lot of lives that have been saved because of our science and medicine. So I'm going to stop. I'm not an expert in survival. I have to put my head into the game, and I have to think 2 or 3 moves ahead, and I have to start getting my head into it. But people, I would start thinking this. I would start worrying about what society's going to do and how it's going to fuck up our whole system as far as survival, food sources, our supply chains, all this shit. How are you going to survive? You're going to be in a food line like a bunch of other sheep, or are you going to be out there, protecting your home and family and doing what you need to do? It's going to get scary. It's going to get real scary. So I'll talk to you later. Mark Ferrasci with ProTech Dog Training, signing off.